Do you have anxious thoughts? Do you find that when you are intending to be relaxed and having downtime away from work, away from plans, away from social interactions or other kinds of obligations, that in your body you just can't relax? And that in your mind all of these thoughts keep flooding your mental space, thinking about future scenarios, how this is going to be, what you have to do, how you have to plan for this, that, none of it giving you the actual space that you desire and need in the moment. Even if it's time that you've already allocated for yourself, maybe it's already the weekend, maybe it's your break, your lunch break or something, or just throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout your life, whenever there's a chance for you to relax and to just enjoy the moment, you feel like you can't because the thoughts of the future, anticipation, are just flooding your mental space. If so, then stay tuned and watch the rest of the video. If you want to change the way you relate to your anxious thoughts, you have to understand the mechanism of fear and the mechanism of anxiety and the mechanism of future-oriented thought and what it's seeking and why it's there. So why is it there? We have this bias towards negativity, towards looking for the worst case scenario and always imagining what's going to happen next, because it's part of our evolutionary makeup. It's definitely a really good thing that our ancestors did that they developed this habit of looking out for the worst case scenario, because otherwise the species wouldn't have survived. However, as modern humans, we don't need to be always hypervigilant or looking out for saber-toothed tigers or imagining the worst case scenario or constantly thinking about the future when the present moment is just here, now. The thoughts that are future-oriented and seeking out the worst-case scenario, they are coming from the feeling of fear, and they're seeking certainty in the scenario, even if it's a negative one. There's a feeling of, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if the saber-toothed tiger is behind that tree or behind that other tree. So the mind produces that scenario of you getting eaten so that you're aware, so that you're being careful. And it creates a sense of certainty. So paradoxically, letting go of certainty can make us feel uncomfortable, but letting go of the certainty that comes from a negative worst case scenario actually can free us, even if it's just momentarily. It can free us from the fear that comes up. And fear maybe is a strong word, but think of fear as a spectrum of emotions that go from slight worry or slight curiosity to becoming more like worry, to then becoming more like anxiety or maybe subtle anticipation, and then that can turn into more of like actual fear, and then maybe paranoia, and then maybe a panic attack, right? It can become more intense, but no matter where it is on that spectrum, there is a feeling of tightness in the body, whether it's subtle or more overt. And there's a future orientation in the thoughts. They are focused on something coming in the future. And there's a certainty that this something is going to be horrible and we need to avoid it. Right? So, obviously, if you're in a real life situation where there's a life or death scenario going on, then maybe you just want to trust your instincts there. But if you're pretty sure that you don't need to be constantly worrying about the future, constantly thinking about what's going to happen next, and that you actually are intending to relax, but you find that you're not able to, then yeah, think about how the need for certainty might not be serving you, and how maybe being okay with the unknown, being okay with not having certainty in this moment actually could be relaxing. For example, if you're expecting, you're thinking about an event that's going to happen and there's a certain person who's going to be there and you don't want that person to be there because they're going to talk about something you don't want to talk about, or they're just going to, I don't know, for whatever reason, you don't want to be in contact with that person. You could, instead of giving into the feelings and the thoughts that are suggesting that this is going to be the worst thing ever, it's going to suck, it's going to be horrible, you could just say something along the lines of, I actually don't know how this is going to go. This might not suck. I actually have no idea what's going to happen. Not forcing yourself to be, okay, this is going to be fine, I'm going to have a great time, it's going to be okay, because you don't know, it might not be okay, right? But instead of being so certain that it's going to be horrible, you could just relax into the actual truth, which is that you don't know what's going to happen. By saying something to yourself, well, first of all, by taking a deep breath into your nose, exhaling and vocalizing out of your mouth, and feeling how your parasympathetic nervous system is coming online and you're regulating all of your anxious sensations in your body. And then in your mind, just softly suggesting to yourself, it's okay that I don't know what's going to happen at this future thing. I actually don't know how it's going to be. It might be anything is possible. Maybe reminding yourself of the fact that in the same way that you are constantly growing and expanding and changing, this other person is also growing and expanding and changing. Maybe you're pretty sure that they're still going to be annoying or rude or mean or whatever it is that you're anticipating and not wanting to experience. That's probably, maybe you have evidence to show that that's probably the case. However, in the moment, for the sake of your own well-being, you can just really gently suggest to yourself, I actually don't know how they're going to be. It's possible that they've grown and that they could be showing up in any possible way. I don't know what's going to happen, and it's okay for me to be uncertain about this. So, yeah, that was just on my mind. Think about that. That could be very helpful if you are able to notice the feeling in your body, regulate yourself with the breath, with some movement, and then notice what's happening in your mind and really gently suggest, I'm okay with uncertainty in this moment, and see how it works. Let me know in the comments if you've been in a situation like this, or if you've ever tried any of the things I'm suggesting. And also, it looks like a lot of people who are watching my videos aren't subscribed, so if you're getting any value from this, please consider liking the video and subscribing if you want to get more of these videos on a regular basis, so you can get a notification every time that I post one. Alright? In the meantime, peace be with you.